Okay, so I finally bit the bullet and decided to get myself something that works properly, since any computer that I have really doesn't work properly. So graphics, I'm going to take out of my old one, which is still a new graphics card. Power supply, I'm also going to take out of the other one, since it still works fine. Our board is some cheaper MSI one, but it'll do the job. So, to anyone that wants to make fun of me, go ahead, because I'm probably terrible at this, as most simple things. But here's our CPU. Not a Threadripper, but it'll do the job. Now for our cooler, I'm not doing a water cooler. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just going to use the one that comes with it. This actually doesn't look bad at all. This is the stock cooler that it comes with. It has, let's see, the core of it is copper, then it has the aluminum fins, which looks fine. It's plenty tall. So I'm going to use this and go from there. If it's inadequate, which it won't be, I'll upgrade it. Now I will be taking off their stock thermal putty, because that's trash. So, and I'll be using, I have both GC Extreme and MX4 now. Based on all the reviews, GC Extreme is supposed to be better, but I haven't seen it. I kind of prefer MX4, but I don't want water cool or anything like that. The heat isn't going to affect the CPU in the time that I have it. I mean, you know, let's clean off that old thermal putty. Now we don't have our RAM yet. The RAM is supposed to could come anywhere between now and 4 p.m. Postal Service, so I probably won't be able to test it now. I'll have to test it later, but at least I can get it assembled, cable management done, all of that. I'm actually going to try and have halfway decent cable management. But we'll see. So our board, so this heatsink doesn't have those clips, like, you know, on the older cooler, how it has those clips as screws. Now our board has the bracket for those older types. So we're going to take this off and hope this lines up. I think this will work fine, but we're going to see. Wouldn't see why it wouldn't work. I'm going to go ahead and take off this bracket. What's the warranty on Ryzen? I have no idea. Let's see if it says it. Um, 3-year warranty on the CPU. The board, I have no idea. The board is a MSI reconditioned $45 board, so hopefully it even works. But that's what I get for being cheap if it doesn't. So the bracket, let's take it off. Yeah, the newest computer I have is Intel 4th Gen. The one at work is a Xeon 4th Gen, and that one freezes randomly. It crashes randomly. Sometimes it'll slow to an unusable speed, and I'm guessing that's PCH issue. I've replaced the drives in it. I've reloaded Windows. It just will still sometimes do the thing where it just slows to a crawl. So I don't know what's up with that. and it's a um, forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, none of my stuff works properly. My ThinkPad works okay. I just put a new SSD in that, a 1 terabyte SSD, but the ThinkPad still does this thing where the trackpad driver won't work at first when you start it, and you have to hit the Windows key or any key about 10 times for the driver to initialize. But yeah, when you're a technician, you kind of ignore your own stuff. So usually MSI has an SPI header at least. Yes, it does have an SPI header right near the BIOS chip. So you know what? Let me plug in my microscope and we'll go over the board a little bit, because I will explain this board. So this is one of the cheapest boards that you can get. I paid $45 for this board, and it doesn't actually look too bad. So let me get my microscope camera up. One second here. Hopefully OBS will recognize it. It may not. Okay, so this board. So firstly, for our FETs, our CPU FETs are going to be covered under this giant heatsink. I don't know what they are, but I know these right here are Nikos, whatever, PX. It's a basic FET. It's nothing special. It's also nothing terrible. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just, you know, I'm guessing the FETs under here are going to be Nikos too. The CPU buck controller is going to be a Richtech RT8894A, which I initially thought was really lousy, but I was told that it's just basic. It's not bad, or it's not the worst, not the best. It's nothing wrong with it. It's, you know, just a basic controller. So MSI didn't get too crazy with that. At least it's not super cheap. There's our BIOS chip and SPI header right there. It's not detachable, as Arnold asked. As far as, I mean, there's nothing really remarkable or special. The PCI slot has aluminum around it, which does help for durability. If you have a heavy card, it feels pretty solid. And nothing, I mean, nothing remarkable. It's just a board. But for 45 bucks, it's certainly not bad. Now what's strange is these FETs don't have heat sinks on them, but this one does. So I don't know. I don't know if these are for something different. I don't really know how these chips work. That cap right there looks like it was replaced, actually. Maybe not, but that coloration looks a little funny. Usually when caps are shorted, they can be like that if they got real hot. So now I want to check if it's shorted. Not shorted, I just think that might have been replaced. Since they did say it, since it was a reconditioned board, they might have replaced that one. I don't know if MSI does in-house board refurbishing or not. We have diagnostic lights right here. That's kind of helpful because you know, a lot of the new boards don't have a speaker for beep code, so it does help to have those lights if you're troubleshooting an issue. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Your SATA ports are on the side, your chipset's right here under a heatsink. The chipset has another heatsink on it, of course. And that's pretty much it. This thing is like the ITE. It's very similar to the ITE Super I/O controller. Your CMOS battery, here's your clock circuit, I think, right here. I'm guessing that's going to be your clock generator. I'm not 100% sure, but that would make sense. That's your clock generator right there. I'm trying to see. Can't really see the part number, but yeah, overall, I mean, nothing special about the board, but it'll work. Let's see. Go to chat. Which model Ryzen 7? R7 1700. So it's an 8-core, 16-thread. But back to, we're going to put our heatsink on right now. This plate fell off, so I'm going to put it back. It goes this way. I'll try and clean that heatsink one more time. And the CPU. And let's grab our thermal paste. So, you know how everyone complains that, oh, spread the paste evenly across the die and this and that. We don't do that here. So what we're going to do is this. Nice, good line there. See, so look, our CPU is nice and covered perfectly professionally. However, so whoever wants to make fun of that, go right ahead. So now our heatsink has to go on now. Which way? Looks like this way or this way. No, it goes this way. Hope the RAM is Ryzen optimized. I think it was. Like anytime you have, I guess, this kind of don't know if this matters much to the heatsink, but I like to walk the screws back and forth a little bit. I think I failed at this on this one because these two haven't gone in. So we're going to loosen these up. I want to get sure all four are in. Before we start tightening down, you don't want to warp the heatsink or, you know, screw something up. Yeah, the thing about thermal paste is you're putting pressure on the heatsink. If there's too much, it's going to squish out the sides. I'd rather have too much and have it squish out the sides than not enough. And this comes from my standpoint as someone that fixes these things for a living. Not computers in general, but with MacBooks, I just put a big glob on them. I don't care too much about it, because whatever the excess is just going to squish out the sides, just like I did on this. You can't really have too much. There's a tolerance under the heatsink, and if you put the right amount of mounting pressure, there's only going to be a really thin film on the CPU itself. So we're going to plug in our fan header right here. This is it for the CPU. That just goes like that. I don't know. This has another port right here for the LED the cooler has a light on it, LED light. So let's plug that in. And this I think is going to go to the LED header on the board. So it looks like this side is going to go right here. And then this is going to plug into the LED. Wait. Now which way does this go? I guess this way. I have no idea. Wait. Does the side with the arrow go to the 12-volt pin? I'm confused. Okay, so let's see. So the red, I know red on the other end of the cable is going to be 12 volts. So which... I don't want to plug the lights into the wrong one, because if you plug it in the wrong one, it's going to go pop. It's hard to do this with only two hands. Okay, so where's red? Strange, none of them read it. What? So I gotta read on this, because I have no idea what I'm doing. This is what happens when a component level board repair technician attempts basic assembly of a computer. RGB header orientation. Which arrow for Wraith RGB? See page 44 of your manual. I'm not doing that. 44 manuals are a darn heatsink? There's no manual even in this box. The arrow pin is the 12 volt and goes to the left as you look down the header. Wraith whatever, any cooler. The pin with the arrow is your 12 volt. Okay. So plug it back in. So plug it in. The 12 volt is going to be on the arrow, which makes sense. Wanted to confirm. And what we're going to do, since we don't need all this excess, we're going to coil it up. Actually, yeah, we're going to coil this up over here. And get a tie wrap on that. We grab a tie wrap. Someone told me a while ago, oh, well, if you tie wrap and stuff like this, it's going to cause EMI interference, and yeah, all that's nonsense. I could care less about EMI interference. Not on a consumer level device anyway. Could care less about it. Is this MacBook? No. Heck no. Cam, don't insult my board. Calling it a MacBook board. I'm gonna probably tape this right here with Captain Tape because the video card's gonna go over this. You can't really see what I'm talking about, but you'll see in a minute. Yeah, the funny thing about thermal paste is when I was 12, I used the whole tube on a CPU because I thought it needed the whole tube and it all squished out the sides. That was pretty funny. So we're kind of going to put this here. I'll put a little piece of Captain Tape right here. You're not going to see it. It's going to be, of course, under the GPU, so it doesn't really matter too much. I just want to kind of get it out of the way. Hopefully the GPU fits. I think it'll fit fine, though. Kind of tuck that right there. Just kind of out of the way. Our fan's going to have to go there, too. You know, for now I'm going to unplug this from the cooler because we're going to have to put another fan right there. So we're done with the board, I think, for right now. Save these brackets. I'll put these in the box. Now, we're going to take the graphics out of my old one. Now, my old one has an AMD dual core, I think. Athlon X4, no, quad core, 860K, but whatever that is, it's a really lousy quad core. It's basically on par with the Sandy Bridge i7 laptop CPU. And this thing, So I'll show you. The thing is I wanted more performance out of it, so what I did is this motherboard was not made for overclocking at all. So what I did is, if you tried to overclock it, the FETs on the board would overheat. So what I did was put the copper heat sinks on the FETs so they wouldn't overheat, and it actually worked. I was able to overclock it a little bit and have it be okay. So take out the graphics card. RAM is coming this afternoon with any luck. It says out for delivery. So RAM can come any minute actually. So this is a RX 580. It's an AMD reference board, I think. I don't know. It works. That's all I care about. Heatsink is still nice and clean. It's only a few months old, honestly. So we're going to use this in the new board in a minute. I'll put that in probably after I reassemble everything. But the power supply, which I tie wrapped in all kinds of stuff, is going to be real fun to remove. And also, so talk about professionalism. Check this out. So, you see this SSD right here? When in doubt, where you do not know how to put an SSD in a desktop computer, what you do is you double back tape it. So if you don't know where an SSD is supposed to go in a desktop computer, or you don't have the appropriate mounting hardware, you just tape it. And you see now that it's taped, double back taped, I'm not going to be able to get it out, which is going to be extremely fun. There we go. Yeah, see? Double back tape. Double back tape is the best way to put something in if you don't know where it goes or how to put it in. Just double back tape it. So, well, funny story, my work computer, I didn't want to mount the hard drive in properly because I'd have to order the bracket, and there was already a drive in the other bracket. So what I did is I put tie wraps around the drive and tie wrapped the drive into one of the CD drive slots with no CD drive in it, and then put foam under the hard drive because it was rattling. That was my solution to a hard drive mount on the work computer, and that's the computer that this is streaming on right now that has a tie wrapped in hard drive. And the SSD in this computer is just hanging. No, this tape is hard to take off. Another thing, maybe someone in chat knows this, I don't want to reinstall Windows, so what I'm planning on doing is just putting this in the new one and booting from it. Hopefully it'll recognize the drivers and work. I'm not too certain on that. But this power supply, so funny story about the power supply in this computer. One time I knocked over the coffee cup on the desk, and this has vents in the top, and there's a hole in the bench, and the coffee went down under this into the top of the computer and spilled into it. So the board survived, CPU survived, RAM didn't. Went in the power supply too on the video card. The video card developed random issues, but that was due to just a dying chip. It was AMD R7, and it was just dying. It wasn't from the coffee, but that's why I got the RX 580 for it. Yeah, it's Windows 10 cam. So this power supply got liquid in it too. I opened it to inspect it, but then I decided I didn't want to take it all the way apart. And it was dusty, so I'm going to take it apart right now. And we're going to inspect the power supply, dust it out, make sure it's good to go before I, will this power supply even work in a Ryzen board? I didn't know if they changed. Does anyone know if they changed anything critical on the power supplies? I have no idea. And this goes around the back. Okay. So here's another thing I did. Let's see. I think my cable management on this side was really less than ideal. Let's see. I don't remember what's under here. I think I kind of just... Oh, actually, it's not terrible. Look at that. I thought I would do a lot worse because I didn't remember. But we need to cut the tie wraps right here. Unplug the motherboard connector. And the CPU one is routed up here. The one on the Ryzen looks longer. No, it doesn't. It's the same. I have no idea what I'm doing with stuff like this. You know how many comments this video is going to get, just like Lewis's did, that, oh, you didn't do this right, or this is wrong, and whatever. Here's our power supply. This is actually a pretty decent power supply. Zero effect, it does have RGB. The board has it on the back, and so does the cooler. So we're going to open this power supply and have a look at it, because this board I kind of care about, and the other one I really didn't. So, and yes, I know capacitors, this and that, electrocute you. It really doesn't matter. I'm invincible to electricity. How many watts output? 900 peak, 620 typical. So it's rated 620, but up to 9 something, I think. So let's have a look at this power supply, since it did this did get liquid damaged, like I said, when coffee went in it, and I really didn't care because it still worked. But before putting it into this thing, we're going to inspect it a little bit. That's lousy right there. And that goes, that's on 110 volts. That is really lousy. We're going to leave that alone for now. So yeah, just dusty. I don't think there's much liquid in here. Those caps look good. That little board is conformal coated. There's some coffee got in right here near the transformer, but I doubt it's going to cause any issues. I don't see any corrosion, and these are conformal coated too. Yeah, look right here. Some got in right there, but again, this is all conformal coated, I believe, so I'm not going to worry about that. Those caps look fine. It's just a little bit dusty. That little board looks good. I forget who makes this power supply. Let's see if it says it on here. I think Seasonic. Doesn't say. Seasonic or HSB or someone. But either way, I'm gonna go grab some canned air real quick. I'll be right back. I have to run outside to get it. Need keys, unless I brought it in. No. So I need keys, so I'll be right back. So I'm going to try and make some of the dust that blows out go into the vacuum. This is an 80 plus gold or bronze. What is this? Does it say on it? 80 plus bronze. Now plugging this fan in again is going to be a real headache. I wouldn't, no, this is still a decent power supply. That's why I don't want to throw it out. I mean, it's still fine. Yeah, this is not going to be fun because there's the way it plugs in. It's kind of strange. This is why I didn't take it apart to begin with, because the darn connector. My brain does not want to work today. You know those days where you just kind of feel just off? I get like a, I don't know, it's pretty strange. So, fan header has to come. Does it go this way? No, it has to go this way. Power supplies don't need fans, right? power supplies don't need fans. It's like we don't need RAM for that board. We test that, the fan spins, we're good. No need to do anything further than that if the fan spins. So this darn stupid connector, have to grip it and push it down in here. There we go. It's in. There, certified refurbished power supply. Zero effect? No, it doesn't need fan spin. It just needs volts. Power supply just needs volts. 12 volts, it's fine. I don't know if the fan spins on this one automatically or when it's hot. I don't even know if this one has thermal protection. I mean, power supply gets too hot, it's probably not going to fail catastrophically. You're just going to lose output. It's very rare that one will fail where it sends, main voltage into your board. People panic about that, but no, it's pretty rare. So here's our power supply for the new case. I guess let's start, wait, where's my SSD that I taped? Right here. I'm going to try and get rid of the tape on this thing. Yeah, the SSD in my desktop almost always has an over temperature warning on it, but it's not even hot. Yeah, exactly. Power supply, if it fails, it's just going to stop working. It's not really going to... Now, if you get a really cheap one, like, those Chinese ones that advertise like 1,000 watts or something that cost 20 bucks, those kind avoid. Now, you guys remember the size of the transformer in that little, the power supply that I have, right? That I just opened up. Pretty small compared to this thing. So this, the bench power supply I use that's sitting right here on my bench, the transformer in that, this is actually from the same model I had a friend who's failed, the same exact power supply. This is the transformer in this thing. So, I mean, this is huge. It's bigger than my hand and weighs like 10 pounds. This is as heavy as a brick, too. It's heavier than this whole power supply. That's what you need to ram voltage into a board to find shorts. So, tape is off the SSD. Now, this case. Where does an SSD go in this case? So this is the new case. Okay, looks like SSD is going to go right here. We are going to put another drive in this, but I forgot the other drive somewhere else, unfortunately. So it looks like that just goes in like that, and there should be a couple screws. So that's straightforward. Let me turn it, because you guys couldn't see what I was talking about. This goes in like that. The screws and stuff look like they're right here. Lab PSU is linear? I have no idea. So here's our screws. Now these all look too big for the SSD. At least I think. Is that too big in there? No, let's try and fit this one in there. That one worked just fine. The one on this side. Need smaller screwdriver. Where's my normal screwdriver? Where's my normal screwdriver? It's not here. This one will work. Close enough. What does black box open up on the side there? Huh? Right here is where the mechanical drive is going to go. Come on. Oh, these slide out? That would make it a lot easier. Oh, I see the screw now. Okay. Yes, much easier. This is what I mean. With stuff like this, I don't know what I'm doing. They only give you one standoff? Really? Maybe there's more in the little box. That one isn't the right screw. Yeah, they only give you one standoff. Unless there's some already in there. Oh, they're already in there. The board has a slot for M2 as well. Used to have a PCIe 500 gigabyte one, but I had no use for it, so I gave it to someone. You always get rid of stuff that you don't need, and then you always end up needing it after. Okay, so this is going to go back where it belongs, right here. Now our drive, and this one is a, let me pull it out. It's a Seagate Firecuda solid state hybrid drive. These aren't too terrible. These are actually decent drives. Seagate always gets a bad rap. They're really they're really not that bad. The problem is the Seagate owns a large chunk of the market share. If you look at the that Backblaze drive report, you see that like the manufacturers with the lowest failure rates had like 2,000 drives in use, but then Seagate, they show having 40,000 drives in use with the highest failure rate. Well, obviously that's because you have a larger sample. The most drives that I see with, 40,000 or more hours that are still running, spinning, are Seagates. Western Digital probably the least amount of hours before they fail. It really depends. Now, how does this go back in? And my phone is ringing. Hi, how can I help you? This is a business, not a household. Scammer. So how does this go in? I think we should put a screw in this. Yes, scammer calls. Can I speak to the head of the household? This isn't a household. Yeah, Western Digital red and stuff like that are good. The blues aren't really, though, not from what I've seen. How do you put this in? Ah, I see, like that. It snaps in. Okay. So there's that. This thing looks like another mount. It's going to go down here. I'll just snap that in for later use. Or wait. What should we put in next? Should we do a board or power supply next? Let's put our board in. So all the standoffs are in there. At least I think. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that lines up. Nothing is worse than running PSU cables and the motherboard is in the way. Power supply. Okay, I'll put the power supply in first. I will listen to people that know what they're doing. Where does the power supply go? Okay, it goes to the back, so there's a cover right here. Well, that's going to be fun because it doesn't line up, so I'm going to have to tilt this because I need gravity on my side. Gravity is a good thing, unless you're falling from the sky. Then it becomes not a very good thing at all. Gravity is only good as long as you're not falling from the sky. Only 2 screws line up. I'd like at least 3 in there, probably all of them, because I promise not to do this halfway like I usually do. There we go, now all of them lined up. Did I put this in backwards? We'll have to see. You don't want the fan breathing where there's no room for it to breathe. It should breathe through the bottom. The fan should be facing down. That's how you want it. Okay, now cables. I'd imagine yeah, it's in the right way. Fan facing down where the vent is. Now CPU. Guess that's going to go through the top here. And that gives you plenty of room, I think. That. Just I think. Yeah, that'll give me plenty of room to plug it in CPU, and that's hidden in the back. That's what I mean by that. Here, let me adjust the camera angle. So I'm running the CPU cable up at the top, which I think is how it should go. And the motherboard ATX, I mean the main power pin should go here, I believe. Which I can do that after. So, let's put our board in. Get this one standoff, which goes right here. That would make sure all screws are in the board. Where's my needle nose pliers? So I want to tighten that, and those are missing. And those are still missing. I know I had needle nose pliers here. Hand tight's good enough. GPU power, good idea. That's going to go out through here. Yeah, I'll wait for that, because that's going to go out through that hole right there, along with the I/O stuff for the front. Oh, I fixed that standoff bit? Cool. This thing. Didn't know that. Now motherboard. Not even close. Yeah, like the ports on the I/O board are not the I/O plate are not even close to lining up. Oh, I see why. There we go. That's how it's supposed to go. I was being dumb. Yeah, there is metal plate inside. Kind of bent that up. Ethernet can stay, I think. It wasn't in the port, it was just... I'll bend it up a little bit again. There. No, there's none. Before, when I built other ones, I haven't put the I/O thing in. If it's mine, I just leave that out. Wait a second, this screw does not want to go in right. Wait, you have to tighten the standoffs, I think. The standoffs don't come pre-tightened. Guess I should have checked them. That one is. That one is. That one is. I guess I just got one that wasn't, because it came off. But I'm just going to hold it. And we will try again. The screw doesn't feel right at all. And took the standoff out again. What is going on here? It's got to be the wrong size screw, and that's screws it comes with for the board. Unless these are the board screws, which does not look like it. Let's see, let's get the right screw. So, it must be this type of screw. No, that one's not it either. That makes no sense. What are the board screws? Tried that one. These thin thread ones? It is the thin thread ones. That's in the first one. I didn't know that. proper one is the narrow thread screws. Usually they're not, which is strange, but kind of going slow a little bit too, because the RAM isn't here and the RAM should be coming soon. Mail usually comes 3 or 4, sometimes earlier, it depends. Went right through. And these are aluminum screws too, so they're not magnetic, which makes it harder. Should be a crime. Okay, now system fan. When I do tie wrap the cable, I'm gonna move it up here under the fan, above the ports. What's wrong with a magnetic screw touching a motherboard? Oh, never mind. I'm being stupid. No, wait a second. No, the screw isn't magnetic. It's the screwdriver that's magnetic. Just make the screw out of something that is attracted by a magnet. There's nothing wrong with that. Most of them are. I know MacBook screws are. Three-pin system fan. I hope that's not going to be full speed. Tie wrap here. I want to go over something with tie wrapping things in a minute here. Specifically when cutting them. So when you cut a tie wrap, do not cut them like up here. Okay, a lot of people will cut them here, or they'll use like tin snips or something like that. And when you do that, it creates a very sharp edge. You want to use flush cutters like this. And what you're going to do is go to the base of where the tie wrap comes out and clip it as close as you can. Because when the next person that works on this, when it's sharp and jagged, you reach in there, it'll cut your arm open. So cut them as flush as possible. So I'm going to tuck that up here. Just nice and out of the way. The CPU fan header, I guess I don't really have to do anything with it. I could put a little piece of electrical tape or something right here if I wanted to. I may actually, because that would look nice and neat. Yeah, let's put a little piece of electrical tape there. Black electrical tape. As long as the fan doesn't hit it, we should be fine. And it'll look nice and clean and professional. There, now the... darn it, it's hitting the... There, now it's not. Make sure that won't come up. It shouldn't. There we have the... Can't really see it, but the fan header for the CPU heatsink is nice and taped and out of the way. Now our CPU plugs, this is weird, because it has a bigger connector, but I'm guessing you put both of these in here. There's one. Wait. There's one. So I don't want them tangled up. Wait a second here. It's not fit. Does Ryzen need a new CPU connector? Because this is not right. Yeah, this isn't right at all. Let me look that up. The side that the clip is on is different as far as the layout of the connector. Alright, live chat. Will a normal and older power supply with two 4-pin connectors work on this board? Because it's... I don't know. Let's see. They go in like opposite directions. And that's not right. Will this thing blow up as soon as I power it on? Yes, the CPU, the PSU has two. And they're both right next to each other. Wait, this... Well, I guess I'm taking a trip. Because this doesn't fit. And there's two 4-pin. And that's it. There's two 4-pin. One 4-pin fits. The other one doesn't. Wait. So this one fits that way. Okay, there we go. I was being stupid. Both fit. So we're good. Yeah, I'm a complete dummy. And then my fan came untaped. I'll probably figure out a better way to mount that than electrical tape, because I don't think electrical tape will hold that. Yeah, I just didn't know if the new CPUs or anything required a different power supply. Was not sure about that. I'll probably use Captain tape on that fan rather than that electrical tape. So our motherboard power connector is in. That's going to hang out in the back. Now what the heck do all these cables do? Okay, this thing USB for the front. USB 3.0. Alright, let's try and match a connector on the board to this one. I kind of hope this video, I get some messages that say that people say, well, you fix boards really. I want to learn how to fix stuff like you and this. It's like, look at this. It's an embarrassment. Okay. JUSB 3. Now this looks like it'll fit. Let's try it. Does this fit? It doesn't fit. Should I force it? There we go. That fit. So now that fit, we're going to tuck this cable back down in here. Now, these are what? So this one, HD audio, which I'll never use, but we'll still plug it in. tie wrap that in a little bit. There's that. Now, this last one is what? You know, I hate these. You know, what? Can someone explain to me what the point of this is? You know, where you have all the separate things. Why can't you make that one stupid plug? No, Zero Effect USB 3 plugged into a header on the board. Let's plug in SATA power first. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go check the mail for my RAM. I'll be right back. Okay. SATA power. That cable is stuck in here, which is tie wrapped. No RAM yet. SAT. 4 days to get something an hour for me. DHL e-commerce, which went forgot what I was gonna say. My mind isn't working right today. It's having kernel panics. Yeah, my mind is having kernel panics today. It keeps locking up. This is the worst part, is wrestling with the cables. And it's not too terrible, but I still don't like doing it. And now I'm going to have to reach down in here to plug it in. You know what, we're going to do the PCIe power first. I see how that is, and that doesn't look fun at all. Because I have to get back here first to do this one before PCIe/HDD. This is going to be impossible. Not really. I'm just being dumb. There we go. There's that. This is going to go up here without tangling anything. You can always push it back because I don't care how it looks underneath in here. I care about it, you know, up there. Now, SATA power. The microphone is tangled around it. I kind of want all of them to be tied off, though. I for once want to do something that isn't halfway put together, and you know, all my stuff always is. The thing is, like on a customer's device, is completely different from my own stuff. I just tend to Mickey Mouse my own stuff way too much. And for once, I didn't want to do that. Line up. That's in there. Now I'm going to push this down in here a little bit. You know, I want to run this one USB under the main power connector. And under all these, because it's be better that way. Unplug audio. All these untangled. We don't want these tangled. Audio and front panel. So audio is going to go over here again at the end. Now this. So where is JFP1? JFP1 is over here. And Power LED. At least this one's marked positive and negative. Some aren't. Power LED positive. Power LED negative. Power switch, positive and negative. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. What the heck? And reset. Underneath. I thought the pin labels on this one face up. I have no idea. We'll see. Okay, so that's done. Let's go ahead and plug in our cooler lights. So we can tuck that under the fan and above the ports, away from the heat sinks or anything like that. And, let's go ahead and put our let's do SATA first. So the board came with 2 SATA cables. I'm going to use new ones. Yeah, I guess the cables behind here I don't really care about. They can look all messy. I don't care. The back is supposed to be a mess. Yeah, look at that. Big mess. There's one. too. I'm gonna try and make these a little bit more presentable, I guess. Now these you're not supposed to tie wrap or anything, right? I guess you can. I don't know. I'm just gonna jam them under here. Now the real test is, will the back panel fit on? Let's try and put the back panel on. If the back panel fits on, then it doesn't matter. Yep, cool. Yeah, it's true. It's a mess that nobody will see. I don't have a degree in cable management, so I could care less, honestly. And graphics. Okay, I have to take off, let's see. Looks like I have to take off both of these right here. This one screws in the way of me taking the other one out. There's two graphics card. This PCI slot is really nice. It has aluminum around it. I do have to take the second screw out. Then this cover goes back, I think. And of course, I would take that first screw out because I remembered that you can't put the second one in with that being out of it. Oh wait, yes I can. I just slide that up. Now, what stopped this from sliding before? Because I know that wasn't like that. Something... Oh, I see. It went behind here. Yeah. And now, of course, it's bent, but... Oh well. So this goes behind here, and the screws go into it. That makes more sense. Ultrasonic motherboard first. I thought about that if it had flux on it, because it is a refurbished one. So that's what I wanted to look and see what they replaced, and I couldn't really see it. Maybe a cap and a transistor looked a little bit different. But otherwise, yeah, the flux was cleaned, thermal paste was cleaned, so yeah, they did a pretty good job. I didn't see any lousy soldering, or else I definitely would have fixed that. But this is getting to be pretty much it here. Put a tie wrap right here. Can't even test to see if it boots until I get my RAM, but least I can do is see if it fan spins. If it fan spins, it's done. Ultrasonic case, that. Ultrasonic case then. No, that wouldn't be a good idea. Where's my wire cutters? I had wire cutters a minute ago. Here they are. And this audio cable, that can go like this. Actually, that's fine how it is. It doesn't look terrible. This, for some reason, this is bothering me. How the heatsink is, or the cable. You can't really see it, but it's dangling here, so I want to attach it to this somehow. And the thing is it's... I'm going to put a few pieces of Captain tape. You'll never see that in the enclosure. And Captain tape, and look. See, Wes, I still have this right here. People are going to speculate what's in there, but it's pretty obvious what's in there. Of course it's obvious what's in there. Wes is JDF in chat. just so people know I'm not talking to an imaginary person. The Captain tape isn't going to hold that either, I don't think. Maybe it will. If I put a few pieces. The Captain tape should hold it. No, actually it won't. That's no fun. Okay, I have a better idea. I don't want a water cooler though. The water coolers are, I guess they're fine, I don't care. The CPU isn't going to know the difference between 60 Celsius and 30 Celsius. At least not over the course of time that I'm going to be using it. So I'm just going to put a tie wrap right around my microphone wire. Keeps getting stuck on stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to overclock the CPU on this thing. Not on this one anyway. Okay, tie wrap this. And this was kind of a pain. Why did I do this? Now it's stuck. Now I have to cut it because it's stuck and I can't. It's stuck here too. This was a bad idea. honestly, that can just stay where it's at. I don't care. No, what? Yeah, no, you know what? Yeah, it's fine how it is. And I think that's it. Let's look at the back. Anything suspicious looking on the back? Just a little bit of mess, which I don't care. SATA is connected. SATA for this other drive is connected. Let's back panel. Put on. Back panel is on. Now let's check for fan spin. Wait, back panel fell off. We got it, yeah. You're right, Wes. We have to do something about those. That looks less than professional. We don't care about professionalism here at all. And that's pretty much the only ones that are kind of flopping around that should be tied. There, much better. $96 and, huh? Okay, so the slides on the cooler are very, I mean on the back panel, it'll slide right off, so I'm going to go ahead and put the screws in. Because I don't think we're going to need to come back here anymore. Okay, you see this fan? It's going to spin. That's going to spin. Okay, you ready? And it doesn't spin. Oh, that's why. And it spins and lights up. Fan spin. That's all that matters right there. Fan spin. We don't care about RAM, see? Optional. RAM is optional. See? It's even telling you. That's what that light means right there. When the light is on for RAM and CPU, which probably shouldn't have a CPU light on, but whenever you get lights right here, that means the RAM and CPU are optional and you do not need them. But yeah, I seriously hope that CPU light will go away after the RAM is in there, because CPU light is on and that's no good. Does anyone know if that light is supposed to be on when there's no RAM in there? Or is that just... The CPU is cold, like there's no V-core. The MOSFET has a heatsink on it, except for these right here. But I don't really have a thermal pad. Motherboard model is MSI something or other. Let me look it up. MSI B. No power LED in the front though. No. Oh wait. I think I know why. Does the CPU plugs have to plug into the power supply to work? Oh wait, no, that's already in there. Cool. Well, I think we need RAM to test fully, honestly. I don't think blaming the CPU after having no RAM on it is let's see. Yeah, video card is plugged in. I'm gonna check tracking even though I know it's not. It's updated for like 10 minutes. So at that point I think it's done. Yeah, and there's only 2 slots coming instead of I don't even have a post debug card, pure enough, and it's not going to post without RAM. But yeah, that's it. Not too bad. It doesn't look terrible. I mean, looks presentable. And put the I don't know what the power sequence on the new boards are, but that heatsink did not even get warm. And but then again, it's 14 nanometer, may not even get warm. Let me see something. Can I measure V-core? Where's V-core? Oh, those stupid chokes. And the feds are covered. Darn it. I can't measure V-core. So what I'm going to do is... No, the heatsink is warm. I'm going to get the FLIR and look for heat when I turn it on. Let's do that. Let's see if the CPU gets warm. Yeah, Ryzen's, I agree. It may not even... If it doesn't see RAM, it's probably going to... CPU's not even going to be active or doing anything. So, let's have a look. See the heatsink. Go ahead and hit power. Heatsink base is 70. 68. Wait. Nothing. It's like it has no V-core. You know what, let's unplug the fan. If we unplug the fan, let's let the heatsink get a little warm, and it's not. Not even a little bit. Yeah, I probably need memory. That fed is getting hot. 90. Yeah, you know, I probably need memory. I'm just... Let's see. Okay, the heatsink's getting hot. Yeah, just need memory. Okay, well, I'm gonna go wait for my memory. Actually, what I'm gonna do is go get lunch. And hopefully by the time I get lunch, no, let me go check one more time, and then if it's not here, I can end the stream, go get lunch, and no memory yet. So what I'm gonna do is go get lunch, and then by the time I'm back, I probably will have that here. So I'll click on and stream in when I get the memory and make sure everything works. Yeah, but it's all done. So thank you guys for watching, and you're probably not gonna learn anything from me from doing this because I really have no idea what I'm doing. But thank you for watching.